What's going on? Um, I realized as I start doing these podcasts, I like what I'm doing, and the impact of it is really showing. You know, when I first started doing this, I didn't think I would be getting an audience built up or anything like that. I just want to really just share what I thought and my opinions about everything, so that way when the future comes, I just have this idea where I just want to keep helping others, where I just want to share my own thoughts, my own process on everything. And by doing this, I feel complete, and I feel like I'm doing it. I feel like I'm pushing through those walls that were holding me back, because the more I do these, the more I feel like it's what I'm supposed to be doing. And I love seeing my clips, you know, showing that they are helping others, showing that people relate to this, and is a great feeling. Because that is my intake to all this, is so that way I can help y'all guys the best I can, because I know most people don't like discussing about any of this, and that's why I decided to do this. It benefits me, and whether it benefits you or not, it's helping somebody out, and I can be okay with that.
Bringing the weight you've been holding, a story ready for unfolding. Here at the open door, a quiet space you can explore. In the stillness after the rain, we'll find the beauty and the pain.
Well, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to The Open Door. I'm glad you're here today. We're talking about something, honestly, that's a lot deeper than people realize. We're talking about change. And not the easy kind, not the exciting kind where everything feels fresh and expiring. I'm talking about the kind of change that feels terrifying. The kind where your whole life has been moving in one direction, and suddenly your spirit's whispering, "This isn't it." And that whisper is dangerous, because once you hear it, you can't unhear it. And society hates that whisper. Society hates that whisper because society loves comfort. It loves routines. It loves when people stay predictable, stay in line, and stay safe, stay small enough to control. But what happens when your soul starts asking for more? What happens when the career you choose doesn't fit anymore? What happens when life you built starts feeling like a cage? That's what we're opening the door to today. The life we're told to build, most of us grew up with the same blueprint. Go to school, get good grades, find a stable job, work hard, pay bills, retire someday. Hopefully be happy somewhere in between. That's the script. And if you follow it, people will clap for you, and they tell you you're responsible, smart, successful. But here's the truth nobody says out loud. You can do everything right and still feel completely lost. You can have the job, the title, the money, the approval, and still wake up feeling empty. That emptiness is not failure. That emptiness is information. It's your inner self telling you the version of success doesn't belong to you, that this version doesn't belong to you. And a lot of people ignore that feeling for years, sometimes decades, because changing feels irresponsible. It feels selfish. It feels reckless, but more reckless, taking a chance on your future or spending your whole life pretending you're okay. People are wondering why change feels so scary. Yeah, I get it. Change threatens the identity, because we start attaching who we are to what we do. I'm a teacher, I'm a manager, I'm a nurse, I'm this, I'm that. And then when life calls us somewhere else, we panic, because if I'm not this, who am I? That's the real fear. And it's not losing the paycheck. It's not disappointing people. It's losing the version of yourself you thought would last forever. But here's what I've learned. Sometimes you have to lose who you are to meet who you're becoming. Growth requires death, not the physical death, but the ego death, that comfort death, that identity death. The old version of you has to make room for the new one. And that process hurts. But pain doesn't always mean something is wrong. Sometimes pain means something is changing. You know, there's people who broken rules. Some of the most fulfilled people in history changed the direction completely. You have Vera Wang didn't design her first dress until 40. Before that, she was a figure skater and a journalist. Imagine if she thought it was too late. You have Colonel Sanders got rejected over and over before building KFC in his 60s. Most people would have quit, but he reinvented himself. You have Steve Harvey was homeless before becoming one of the most biggest entertainers alive. You know, he changed the course when everything looked impossible. You know, the pattern is very clear. People who transform their lives usually don't start with confidence. They start with discomfort, a deep knowing that says, I can stay here, or I cannot stay here. That's where courage begins. Not certainty, discomfort. You know, and there's a reason why people stay stuck. A lot of people don't stay stuck because they're lazy. They stay stuck because they're scared of judgment. What will people think? What if I fall? What if I look stupid? But let me ask you something. Are those people living your life? Will they carry your regret? Will they sit with your pain 10 years from now? And that answer is no. So why let their opinions write your story? People will judge whether you stay or leave, whether you fall or succeed, whether you play safe or go all in. So you might as well choose the life that feels true, because criticism fades, regret lingers. Your life can change fast. Some people forget that. You know, your entire life can change in one decision. One yes, one no, one leap, one moment you decide enough. Enough settling, enough shrinking, enough building someone else's dream while yours dies quietly inside you. One decision can redirect everything. And no, you don't need the whole plan. You only need the next step. And that's it. And most people stay frozen because they want certainty, but certainty is a myth. Nobody knows exactly how it all works out. You move away. You move anyway. You know, that's faith. You know, the open door. And this is why this podcast is called The Open Door, because the opportunity rarely kicks your door down. It quietly opens and waits. And the question becomes, will you walk through it? Will fear convince you to stay where it's familiar? There's a version of you waiting on the other side of change. A freer version, a stronger version, a more honest version. But you can't meet them if you keep clinging to who you used to be. Sometimes the greatest act of self-respect is starting over. And if that's where you are right now, if life has been whispering to you, if your spirit has been restless, if your heart keeps saying there has to be more, maybe this is your sign. Not to have all the answers, not to force the outcome, just trust the pull. and take the next step. I want to say thank y'all guys for opening this door with me today. And if this spoke to you, share it with someone who might need that reminder that it's okay to change, that it's okay to start over, that it's okay to choose yourself. This is the open door. And sometimes the bravest thing you'll ever do is walk through the unknown and trust that who you're becoming is worth it. Until next time, just keep growing, keep questioning, and keep opening doors. I am your host, Sal, and I'll see you guys on the next one.